The Last Stand. Admiral Maya Patel stood at the viewport of the Defiance, watching the swirling gases of the Horsehead Nebula, where humanity's last fleet had gathered. 50 years had passed since the Meridians took Earth, driving the surviving humans into the far reaches of space. Now, after decades of preparation, they were finally ready to take it back. Fleet Status Report, she commanded, her voice carrying the weight of countless battles and lost comrades. All ships accounted for. Admiral, responded Captain Chen Wei from his tactical station. The Lazarus Protocol is functioning exactly as Dr. Harrison predicted. Every vessel's quantum shields are stable. Maya allowed herself a small smile. The Lazarus Protocol had been their greatest discovery in the ruins of Mars' underground research facilities, technology their ancestors had been developing before the invasion. The Meridians had never found it, too focused on securing Earth to thoroughly search humanity's abandoned outposts. And the civilian populations? Maya asked, though she already knew the answer. She'd reviewed the numbers 100 times, but each soul under her protection weighed heavily on her conscience. The colony ships are secured in the Beta Centauri system. Admiral, 3 million survivors, all safely hidden. Chen's voice softened. They're counting on us. Maya nodded, turning to face the bridge crew. Each of them represented humanity's finest, survivors and children of survivors, all burning with the same fire to reclaim their ancestral home. The Meridians had thought they'd broken humanity's spirit when they took Earth, but they'd only scattered the seeds of their own destruction across the stars. Signal the fleet, she ordered. Begin Operation Homecoming. Across the nebula, 20,000 ships of varying sizes activated their engines in perfect synchronization. The sight brought tears to Maya's eyes. Not just warships, but retrofitted mining vessels, colony ships converted to carriers, and even ancient cargo haulers upgraded with salvaged Meridian technology. Every piece of human ingenuity and determination gathered into one massive force. Admiral, called out Lieutenant Sarah O'Connor from the science station, we're detecting unusual quantum signatures from the Lazarus artifacts. They're resonating. Maya crossed to the science station, studying the readings. The artifacts they'd discovered on Mars had been more than just advanced technology. They were keys to understanding the quantum realm itself. Even now, after years of study, they were still revealing new secrets. Dr. Harrison, your thoughts? Maya called to their chief scientist, who had insisted on being present for the operation's launch. The elderly scientist adjusted his glasses, his eyes bright with excitement. It's exactly what we theorized, Admiral. The artifacts aren't just tools. They're part of a network. They're connecting to something, possibly their counterparts still hidden on Earth. Can the Meridians detect this? Maya asked, her tactical mind already calculating risks and opportunities. Impossible to say, Harrison admitted, but this could explain why they invaded in the first place. They must have detected traces of this technology. They knew humanity was on the verge of a quantum breakthrough that would have put us beyond their reach. Maya returned to the viewport, watching the fleet move into attack formation. Then they'd made a critical mistake. They should have killed us all when they had the chance. The first phase of Operation Homecoming had taken months of preparation. Human agents had infiltrated key positions throughout Meridian space, gathering intelligence and planting quantum beacons that would allow the fleet to bypass the enemy's early warning systems. The Meridians had grown complacent in their dominion over Earth, never imagining that the scattered human refugees could pose a real threat. All ships report ready for quantum jump, Chen announced. Targeting coordinates locked on Sol System's outer boundary. Maya took a deep breath, feeling the weight of history pressing down on her shoulders. Send the final coded burst to our agents on Earth. Let them know we're coming home. Throughout the bridge, crew members straightened in their seats. Many of them had never seen Earth except in historical records, but they all carried the stories passed down by their parents and grandparents. Tales of blue oceans, green forests, and cities that stretched to the horizons. Quantum drive signatures detected. Sarah suddenly called out. multiple hostile vessels emerging. Maya's jaw tightened as the massive forms of Meridian warships began appearing around the fleet. Their crystalline hulls caught the light of nearby stars, creating rainbow refractions across their organic-looking designs. "They found us," Chen stated grimly, his hands flying across the tactical controls. "No," Maya corrected, a fierce smile crossing her face. "We let them find us. Execute Protocol Prometheus." Across the human fleet, hidden weapons platforms activated. The Meridians had always relied on their superior technology, never imagining that humanity would dare to face them in open combat. They weren't prepared for the devastating barrage of quantum-tipped missiles that erupted from what they'd dismissed as primitive human vessels. "Multiple direct hits," Chen reported, unable to keep the satisfaction from his voice. "Their shields are failing. They've never encountered weapons based on their own quantum principles before." Maya watched as the Meridian ships tried to regroup, their usual perfect formation dissolving into chaos. "Launch all fighters. Push through their line. We're not stopping until we reach Earth." The space around the Horsehead Nebula erupted into chaos as human fighters swarmed from their carriers. They were smaller than their Meridian counterparts, but each one carried technology reverse-engineered from 50 years of studying their enemy's weaknesses. The quantum shields flickered and sparked as Meridian energy weapons splashed against them, but they held. "Multiple enemy ships attempting emergency quantum jumps," Sarah reported. "They're trying to warn the others." "Let them run," Maya commanded. "By the time they raise the alarm, we'll already be in the Sol system. Humanity is going home. And this time, we're not leaving." As the battle raged around them, Maya felt a fierce pride in her chest. The Meridians had thought they were being merciful when they allowed the survivors to flee Earth. They should have remembered that humans had spread across the stars long before their invasion. They should have remembered that humanity had faced extinction-level events before and survived. "All ships, prepare for quantum jump," Maya ordered. "Operation Homecoming is now in full effect. The next time we see these stars, Earth will be free." The quantum drives spooled up across the fleet, their combined energy creating ripples in space-time itself. As the Meridian forces fell back in disarray, Maya thought of all those who had sacrificed everything to reach this moment. The resistance fighters who had died gathering intelligence. The scientists who had worked themselves to death unlocking the secrets of quantum technology. The countless civilians who had survived in the harshest conditions, never letting go of the dream of return. For Earth, she whispered as reality began to bend around them. "We're coming home." The human fleet vanished in a cascade of quantum energy, leaving behind a graveyard of broken Meridian ships and the first testament to humanity's return. The war to reclaim Earth had begun, and this time, humanity had the tools, the technology, and most importantly, the will to win. The Meridians were about to learn why you should never leave your enemy alive to rebuild. They were about to learn why humanity had survived every catastrophe that had ever threatened their existence. They were about to learn what it truly meant to face a species fighting to reclaim its home. Earth's children were coming home, and nothing in the universe could stand in their way. Breaking the blockade. The quantum wake dissipated around the human fleet as they emerged at the edge of the Kuiper Belt. Through the Defiance's main viewport, Admiral Maya Patel could just make out the distant spark of humanity's home star. Sol seemed smaller somehow, dimmer than in the historical records, as if it too mourned Earth's occupation. "Quantum transition complete," Lieutenant Sarah O'Connor reported. "All ships accounted for. No immediate casualties from the jump." Maya nodded, but her attention was fixed on the tactical display. The Meridians had transformed the entire solar system into a fortress over the past 5 decades. Massive defense platforms orbited every major planetary body, while automated sentinel drones patrolled the vast spaces between. "Send in the ghost ships," Maya ordered. Captain Chen Wei activated the secure channel to their advance force. 20 sleek vessels, barely larger than fighter craft, emerged from the fleet's shadow. They were humanity's greatest achievement in stealth technology. ships equipped with quantum mimetic systems that could fool even the most advanced Meridian sensors. Ghost Fleet acknowledges, Chen confirmed. Beginning infiltration run. Maya watched as the ghost ships disappeared from their sensors, their quantum signatures masked to appear as nothing more than standard space debris. Their mission was crucial. They would penetrate the Meridian defense grid and plant quantum beacons at strategic points, creating corridors through which the main fleet could advance. Hours passed in tense silence as they waited. The crew of the Defiance remained at their stations, each person acutely aware that 50 years of preparation hung on these crucial moments. Maya used the time to study the Meridian defenses, looking for any changes since their last intelligence update. They've upgraded the Jupiter platforms, she noted, highlighting the massive structures that orbited the gas giant. Those energy signatures are new. Dr. Harrison moved to her side, his aged fingers dancing across the display. Fascinating. They've implemented some form of quantum resonance technology, similar to our Lazarus protocol, but cruder. They're still trying to understand the principles they found in the Mars ruins. Can our shields handle it? They'll have to, Harrison replied with a grim smile. We've had 50 years to perfect our understanding of quantum mechanics. They've only scratched the surface. A sudden alert cut through the bridge's tension. Ghost Fleet reporting in, Chen announced. Beacons are placed. We have our corridors. Maya straightened, her voice carrying across the bridge. Signal all ships. Begin Phase 2. The human fleet split into 3 massive battle groups, each targeting a different approach vector to Earth. Maya had studied ancient naval warfare extensively during their years of preparation, learning from humanity's past conflicts. The Meridians thought in straight lines, their strategies as crystalline and rigid as their ships. They weren't prepared for the fluid, adaptable nature of human combat. Multiple enemy contacts, Sarah reported. They've detected our approach. Meridian response fleet emerging from Saturn's rings. Right on schedule, Maya smiled. Launch Operation Hydra. Across the fleet, cargo ships that the Meridians had dismissed as support vessels suddenly transformed. Their hulls split open, revealing ranks of specially designed fighter craft. Each one carried a quantum torpedo, weapons designed to create localized areas of chaotic space-time that would tear apart even the strongest Meridian shields. Meridian fleet advancing in standard formation, Chen reported. They're deploying their energy web. The space between the opposing fleets lit up as the Meridians activated their primary defense system. Networks of energy beams connected their ships, creating a deadly barrier that would normally slice through any vessel attempting to pass. They never learn, Maya murmured. Execute quantum shift protocols. The human fighters accelerated toward the energy web, their quantum shields flickering with strange patterns. At the last moment, each fighter's quantum field shifted frequency, allowing them to pass through the deadly barrier as if it wasn't there. The Meridians had based their entire defense doctrine on their understanding of normal space. They weren't prepared for enemies who could manipulate the quantum realm itself. Multiple direct hits, Chen called out, excitement creeping into his professional tone. Meridian formation is breaking up. Their coordination is compromised. Maya watched as chaos erupted across the battlefield. The Meridian ships, suddenly unable to maintain their energy web, fell into disarray. Their crystalline hulls, so beautiful and imposing, shattered under the impact of quantum torpedoes. Admiral, Sarah's voice carried an edge of concern. We're detecting massive energy buildup from Jupiter. The defense platforms are charging their main weapons. They're desperate, Maya observed. They're going to try to collapse the entire corridor with a quantum surge. She opened a channel to the fleet. All ships, execute Scatter Protocol Omega. Don't give them a single target. The human fleet broke apart, each ship following randomized vectors that had been calculated months in advance. The massive energy beam from Jupiter cut through empty space, missing the scattered vessels entirely. Return fire, Maya ordered. All ships, target those platforms with everything we have. The space around Jupiter erupted in a devastating exchange of firepower. Human quantum weapons clashed with meridian energy beams, creating spectacular displays of light and destruction. But the humans had one advantage the meridians couldn't counter. They were fighting for their home. Multiple quantum signatures detected, Sarah announced. Meridian reinforcements arriving from Mars orbit. Maya had expected this. The Meridians were predictable in their responses, always following the same tactical doctrines that had served them well against less determined opponents. Spring the trap. Activate all sleeper beacons. Throughout the solar system, quantum beacons that had been hidden years ago by human infiltrators suddenly activated. The resulting quantum interference pattern created a massive disruption field, temporarily cutting off the Meridians' ability to communicate with their automated defenses. Their coordination is completely disrupted, Chen reported. Individual Meridian commanders are trying to compensate, but without their central control. They're vulnerable. Maya finished. Signal all ships. Push through to Earth orbit. This is what we've trained for. The human fleet reformed into attack formation, driving straight through the gap in the Meridian defenses. More enemy ships arrived to challenge them. But without their unified defense network, they were fighting as individuals against a perfectly coordinated human force. Approaching Earth orbital space, Sarah announced, her voice thick with emotion. I can see it, Admiral. Through the clouds and Meridian structures, I can see our home. Maya allowed herself a moment to look at the main screen. Earth hung there, still blue and beautiful despite the Meridian installations that orbited it like artificial moons. Somewhere on that surface, human resistance fighters who had hidden underground for generations were waiting for their signal. Send the coded transmission, she ordered. Let them know we've kept our promise. The children of Earth have returned. As the message was transmitted, Maya thought of all the generations born in exile, raised on stories of a blue world they'd never seen. She thought of the elders who had died still dreaming of Earth's skies, and of the countless sacrifices that had brought them to this moment. Multiple launches detected from Earth's surface, Chen reported. The Resistance is attacking Meridian ground installations. They're creating chaos in their defense grid. Maya smiled fiercely. The Meridians had never understood human nature. They thought that by allowing some humans to flee, they had shown mercy. Instead, they had given humanity time to grow stronger, to develop new technologies, and to return with unshakable determination. All ships, prepare for orbital insertion, she commanded. The ground war begins now. Humanity isn't just visiting. We're home to stay. The first wave of human dropships began their descent toward Earth's atmosphere, carrying troops and equipment that would support the surface resistance. The Meridians fought desperately to stop them, but they were caught between attacks from above and below, their perfect order shattered by human chaos and determination. Send word to the civilian fleet, Maya ordered. Tell them to begin their approach. Earth's children are coming home. All of them. As the battle for Earth's orbit raged around them, Maya thought of the long years of preparation, the countless simulations and training exercises. The Meridians had superior technology and numbers, but humanity had something they could never understand, an unbreakable connection to the world below, a bone-deep certainty that Earth was theirs by right of birth and blood and history. The war for Earth was far from over, but humanity had achieved what the Meridians had thought impossible. They had broken through the blockade, reached the defenses, and reached their ancestral home. The real fight was just beginning, but Maya knew with unshakable certainty that they would win. Because Earth wasn't just another planet to humanity. It was home. And humans would do anything to protect their home. Ghosts of home. Colonel James Chen led his strike team through the ruins of what had once been downtown Singapore. The city's famous skyline, remembered only in historical archives, had been transformed into something alien. Crystalline meridian structures twisted up from the ground like giant geometric vines, their surfaces pulsing with internal light. Movement ahead, whispered Lieutenant Maria Santos, her quantum scanner picking up signatures through the debris. Biological, not Meridian. James raised his fist, signaling the team to hold position. They'd made planetfall 6 hours ago. One of dozens of advanced teams dropped into strategic locations across Earth. Their mission was to link up with the Resistance and prepare for the main invasion force, but so far, they'd found only empty ruins and Meridian patrols. Could be survivors, he murmured into his tactical comm. Could be a trap. Stay alert. The team moved forward carefully, their quantum-enhanced armor allowing them to move silently despite its bulk. 50 years of technological development had given humanity tools the Meridians never expected them to possess. Each soldier carried weapons and equipment that merged human ingenuity with reversed engineered alien tech. A sudden burst of gunfire shattered the silence. Not energy weapons, actual ballistic firearms. James smiled behind his helmet. Only humans still use such primitive weapons. Contact, Maria called out, but James was already moving. Hold your fire, he shouted in multiple languages, using his suit's external speakers. We're human. Operation Homecoming is in effect. The shooting stopped as abruptly as it had begun. For a long moment, nothing moved. Then a figure emerged from behind a fallen Meridian structure. She wore makeshift armor cobbled together from scavenged materials, her face hidden behind a rebreather mask that had seen better days. Prove it, she demanded, her weapon still raised. Prove you're really from the fleet. James slowly reached up and removed his helmet, revealing his very human face. Colonel James Chen, Earth Recovery Force. We got your messages. We're here to take back our home. The woman lowered her weapon, hands shaking slightly as she removed her own mask. Her face was scared, her eyes hard, but tears were running down her cheeks. Major Sarah Wong, Earth Resistance Singapore Cell. We never stopped believing you'd come back. More resistance fighters emerged from hiding, their weapons and equipment a stark contrast to the advanced gear worn by James's team. These were the descendants of those who had chosen to stay behind, who had hidden in the ruins of Earth's cities and waged a guerrilla war against the Meridians for generations. Status report, James requested as his team set up a defensive perimeter. What are we dealing with? Sarah's expression hardened. The Meridians control the surface, but their hold isn't as strong as they think. We've built an entire world beneath their feet. Tunnels, bunkers, hidden cities. Millions of us, all waiting for this day. She led them to a concealed entrance that descended deep underground. As they walked through the tunnels, James saw evidence of human resilience everywhere. Hydroponic gardens provided food. Salvage technology kept the air clean, and children, there were actually children, played in makeshift schools. How many survived? He asked, watching as the residents stared at his team with a mixture of awe and hope. More than the Meridians know, Sarah answered proudly. We learned to mask our life signs, to hide our heat signatures. They think they broke us, but they only taught us to be stronger. They reached a central command center, where resistance leaders from across the region had gathered. Maps showed Meridian patrol routes, defense installations, and something that made James's breath catch. Massive structures that seemed to be drawing energy directly from Earth's core. What are those? He asked, pointing to the strange facilities. We call them harvesters, Sarah explained grimly. The Meridians aren't just occupying Earth, they're feeding off it. Something about our planet's quantum field is unique. They'd been trying to understand it, to harness it. James transmitted the information to the fleet. This explained why the Meridians had invaded in the first place, and why they had been so interested in the Mars research facilities. Earth itself was special, possessing properties that the aliens coveted. Tell me about their defenses, he requested. We need to prepare for the main invasion force. The resistance leaders gathered around, sharing 50 years of accumulated knowledge about their oppressors. They had mapped every patrol route, identified every weakness, and most importantly, they had never lost hope that humanity would return. The Meridians don't understand us, an elderly man explained, his voice carrying decades of defiance. They think because they're technologically superior, they've won. They don't understand that humans don't need superior weapons to resist. We just need a reason to fight. As if to emphasize his words, alarms suddenly blared through the complex. Meridian patrol detected. Someone called out. They're sweeping the sector. They must have detected our landing, James realized. We need to move. But Sarah was smiling. No, she said. This is perfect. We've been waiting 50 years to show them what we can really do. Your arrival is the signal we've been waiting for. She activated a communication system that looked like it had been built from salvaged parts. All cells, Operation Rising Sun is now active. I repeat, Rising Sun is go. Across the ruins of Singapore, hidden resistance fighters emerged from their bunkers. They attacked Meridian patrols with weapons that looked primitive, but had been carefully designed to exploit weaknesses in alien armor. Improvised explosives detonated near key structures, disrupting the crystalline networks that the Meridians used to coordinate their forces. They're not used to fighting an enemy they can't detect, Sarah explained as chaos erupted across the city. We've spent generations learning their blind spots, finding ways to hurt them that they never see coming. James watched in amazement as the resistance executed their long-planned uprising. These weren't just survivors hiding in ruins. They were an army that had been preparing for this moment for 50 years. The main invasion force will begin landing within hours, he informed them. They'll need secure zones for the dropships. Sarah nodded to one of her lieutenants, who unveiled another map. We've been preparing landing zones since before I was born. Clearing them was going to be our last act of defiance if you never came. Now it's going to be our first act of liberation. James activated his quantum comm, connecting to the fleet still fighting in orbit. Ground Team Alpha to command. You're not going to believe what we found down here. Earth never fell. It's been fighting back all along. As resistance fighters and his advance team moved through the ruins together, James felt a fierce pride in his chest. The Meridians had thought they were being merciful by letting some humans flee into space. They never realized they were actually creating the perfect invasion force, one that would return with advanced technology and unshakable determination. But more importantly, they had never understood that the humans who remained behind weren't conquered survivors. They were the seeds of revolution, planted deep in Earth's soil, growing stronger with each generation until they were ready to bloom into an unstoppable force of liberation. The war for Earth wasn't just being fought in space or on the surface. It was being fought in the hearts of every human who had never forgotten what it meant to be free. And now, with the return of their space-born cousins, that war was about to enter its final decisive phase. Earth's children hadn't just returned. They had never truly left. And together, they were about to remind the Meridians why humanity had survived every challenge it had ever faced. The price of tomorrow. Admiral Maya Patel watched from the Defiance's bridge as thousands of dropships descended through Earth's atmosphere, each one carrying soldiers, equipment, and the hopes of humanity. The orbital battle had been costly, but they had secured enough space for the invasion to begin. Ground forces reporting successful landings across all major continents, Captain Chen reported. Resistance forces are providing cover and support exactly as planned. Maya nodded, her attention split between multiple tactical displays. The Meridians were responding to the invasion with massive force, but their reactions were fragmented, confused. The Resistance's synchronized uprising had thrown their entire command structure into chaos. Admiral, Sarah O'Connor called out urgently, "We're detecting massive energy fluctuations from the surface. The Meridian harvesters are powering up." Dr. Harrison rushed to his station, his aged fingers flying across the controls. "They're tapping directly into Earth's quantum field. The readings are off the scale." On the surface, Colonel James Chen led a combined force of Fleet Marines and resistance fighters toward one of the massive harvester facilities. The crystalline structure pulsed with increasingly intense light, its geometric patterns shifting in ways that hurt the human eye to watch. "They're desperate," Sarah Wong observed, running beside him with her salvaged rifle. "They know they're losing control." The ground shook as Meridian war machines emerged from their bases, towering crystalline constructs that moved with impossible grace. But the humans were ready. 50 years of preparation had taught them how to fight an enemy that relied too heavily on technology. "Now," James commanded. Resistance fighters deployed devices that looked like simple radio transmitters. The quantum disruption field they generated caused the Meridian machines to stumble, their perfect coordination suddenly compromised. Fleet Marines opened fire with quantum-tipped weapons, shattering the crystalline armor that had once seemed impenetrable. In orbit, Maya received reports from similar battles taking place across the globe. "They're falling back to the harvesters," she observed. "Whatever they're planning, that's where it ends." "Admiral," Dr. Harrison's voice was tense, "I've analyzed the harvester readings. They're not just drawing energy from Earth's quantum field, they're trying to weaponize it. If they succeed, they'll destroy everything." Maya finished. "Rather than lose Earth, they'll burn it to ash." She opened a channel to all forces. "This is Admiral Patel. The Meridians are attempting to weaponize Earth's quantum field. All forces converge on harvester facilities. We end this now." Across the planet, the battle intensified. Meridian forces fought with increasing desperation, their usual tactical precision replaced by frenzied determination. They had underestimated humanity's resolve, never imagining that their scattered enemies could return with such force. James led his team through the corridors of the Singapore Harvester, fighting room by room against Meridian defenders. The resistance fighters moved with practiced efficiency, their knowledge of the facility's layout proving invaluable. "The main chamber is ahead," Sarah reported, consulting a map that had taken years of covert operations to compile. "That's where they control the quantum taps." The chamber doors were sealed with energy fields, but the humans had planned for this too. Resistance technicians deployed quantum scramblers, devices built from stolen Meridian technology and improved by human ingenuity. "Remember," James called out as the doors began to fail, "we take this intact if possible. The fleet needs to understand how these facilities work." The doors shattered, and the combined human force surged forward. The chamber beyond was a marvel of alien engineering, with crystalline spires channeling energy directly from the Earth below. Meridian scientists worked frantically at control stations, trying to complete their desperate final solution. The fight was brutal but brief. Humans had learned to match Meridian technology with determination and adaptability. Within minutes, the chamber was secured. "Status report," Maya demanded, her voice tense in James's calm. "Singapore Harvester secured," he reported. "Resistance techs are working to shut down the quantum tap now." Similar reports began coming in from around the globe. One by one, the harvesters were captured or destroyed. The Meridians had built their facilities to withstand external attack, never imagining that humans would find a way inside. But in Moscow, something went wrong. Critical overload detected. The warning came too late. The Moscow Harvester exploded with devastating force, the uncontrolled quantum energy creating a cascade of destruction that leveled everything within kilometers. "No more chances," Maya ordered. "Shut them all down, whatever it takes." In the Singapore facility, Sarah's technicians worked frantically to prevent their harvester from suffering the same fate. James watched in amazement as these survivors, who had lived their entire lives under occupation, demonstrated complete mastery of the alien technology. "They never understood," Sarah said, noting his expression. "We weren't just hiding all these years, we were learning. Everything they built, we studied. Every technology they deployed, we found ways to counter." The facility's lights flickered and died as the quantum tap was finally shut down. Around the world, the remaining harvesters went dark one by one. The Meridian's last desperate gambit had failed. In orbit, Maya watched as the remaining Meridian ships began to retreat. They had lost their surface installations, their advanced technology had been countered, and most importantly, they had lost the initiative. "Shall we pursue?" Chen asked, but Maya shook her head. "Let them run. Let them tell others what happens when you try to take humanity's home." The next few hours were a blur of activity as more human ships arrived from the outer system, carrying civilians eager to set foot on Earth for the first time. The resistance emerged from their underground cities, tearfully greeting the descendants of those who had fled so long ago. Maya finally allowed herself to leave the bridge, taking the shuttle down to the surface. She stepped onto Earth's soil just as the sun was rising over Singapore, its light reflecting off the broken meridian structures that would soon be torn down. James and Sarah met her at the landing zone, both looking exhausted but proud. "Welcome home, Admiral," Sarah said, offering a crisp salute. Maya looked around at the mix of fleet personnel and resistance fighters working together to secure the area. The resistance had preserved more than just human life during the occupation. They had kept hope alive, waiting for the day their space-born cousins would return. "The Meridians will be back," James noted. "They won't give up Earth easily." "Let them come," Maya replied, feeling the solid ground beneath her feet. "We've learned from the Resistance's example. Earth is humanity's home, and this time, we're ready to defend it." Around them, the work of rebuilding had already begun. Humans had always excelled at rising from the ashes of devastation, at building something new from the ruins of the old. The Meridians had thought they were breaking humanity's spirit by driving them from Earth. Instead, they had forced humanity to become stronger, more resourceful, and more determined than ever before. The war wasn't over, but its outcome was no longer in doubt. Earth's children had returned, and they had brought with them not just advanced technology, but the unshakable certainty that this time they were here to stay. Dawn's promise. 3 months after humanity's return to Earth, Admiral Maya Patel stood in the ruins of the Geneva Harvester facility. Dr. Harrison moved slowly through the crystalline chamber, his instruments analyzing the alien technology that had nearly destroyed their world. "It's remarkable," he murmured, studying the readings. The Meridians weren't just harvesting energy from Earth's quantum field. They were trying to replicate it. "Replicate it?" Maya asked, watching as resistance technicians worked alongside fleet scientists. The integration of Earth's hidden survivors with their returning cousins had been seamless, as if 50 years of separation had never happened. "Earth is unique," Harrison explained. "Its quantum field has properties we've barely begun to understand. The Meridians discovered this long ago, which is why they invaded. They weren't just conquering us. They were trying to understand what makes Earth special." A commotion at the facility's entrance drew their attention. Colonel James Chen rushed in, accompanied by Sarah Wong and a team of security personnel. "Admiral, we've got something you need to see." They led Maya to a sealed chamber deep within the facility. Inside, they found what appeared to be a communication center, its walls covered in crystalline displays showing data in the Meridian language. "Our linguists have been working on translating their records," Sarah explained. "What we found, it changes everything we thought we knew about the invasion." Dr. Harrison connected his devices to the Meridian systems, and the displays came to life. Images appeared showing distant worlds, their surfaces gray and lifeless. More images followed, entire solar systems devoid of life, their quantum fields somehow diminished. "They're dying," Harrison said softly. "The Meridians, their entire civilization, they're facing extinction. Their quantum fields are degrading, causing their worlds to lose the ability to support life. Earth was their last hope." Maya studied the images, feeling a complex mix of emotions. "They still had no right to take our world." "No," James agreed, but understanding their desperation helps explain their actions. They weren't just being cruel or greedy. They were trying to survive. Before Maya could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. Multiple quantum signatures detected, a fleet officer reported over the comm. "A Meridian diplomatic vessel is requesting permission to enter orbit. They're broadcasting on all frequencies." Maya shared quick looks with her companions before making her decision. Allow them approach, but keep our defenses ready. Hours later, Maya found herself in a hastily prepared conference room in what remained of Geneva's International District. Across from her sat the first Meridian she had ever seen in person. The alien's crystalline-based biology was obvious, its form seeming to shift and refract light like a living prism. "I am Nexus Guide Ven." The Meridian's words were translated by both human and alien devices. "I come seeking not war, but understanding." "You have an interesting way of showing it," Maya replied coldly. 50 years of occupation doesn't suggest a desire for understanding. We were wrong. Ven's form rippled with what the translators indicated was deep emotion. "We saw Earth's unique quantum field as our salvation, but we did not understand its true nature. It was never the planet alone that made Earth special. It was the relationship between Earth and humanity." Dr. Harrison, who had been monitoring his instruments, suddenly straightened. "The quantum resonance patterns, they're synchronized. The Meridian's presence is affecting Earth's quantum field, and vice versa." "Yes," Ven confirmed. "We believed we could harness Earth's quantum field through technology, but we now understand that it is the bond between a species and their homeworld that creates the stability we sought. By driving humanity from Earth, we weakened the very thing we were trying to preserve." Maya leaned forward. "Are you saying that humanity's connection to Earth somehow strengthens its quantum field?" "More than that," Harrison interjected, studying his readings. "The Resistance, their 50 years of maintaining human presence on Earth, they weren't just fighting the occupation. They were literally keeping Earth's quantum field stable. And now that humanity has returned in force, the field is stronger than ever," Ven added. "We offer our surrender, and more importantly, we offer an exchange of knowledge. Help us understand how to restore our own world's quantum fields, and we will share all of our technology and knowledge with humanity." Maya sat back, considering the implications. The Meridians were offering not just peace, but a partnership that could advance human civilization by centuries. Yet the cost of their invasion, the lives lost, the families separated, the trauma of occupation, couldn't be ignored. "Any agreement would require significant reparations," she said finally, "and guarantees that humanity's sovereignty will never again be threatened." "We accept these terms." Ven's form pulsed with what seemed to be relief. "Our civilization's survival depends on understanding the connection between sentient life and planetary quantum fields. We have much to learn from humanity's resilience." In the months that followed, Earth began to transform again. Meridian structures were dismantled, their materials repurposed for reconstruction. The underground cities of the Resistance became museums and research centers, preserving the memory of humanity's determination to survive. Maya stood on the observation deck of the Defiance, now permanently stationed in Earth orbit as part of the planet's defense fleet. Below, the lights of rebuilt cities sparkled alongside restored natural wilderness. Humanity had not just reclaimed their home, they had made it stronger. "The first human Meridian research team leaves for their home systems next week," James reported, joining her at the viewport. "Sarah's leading the Resistance contingent. Turns out 50 years of studying their technology made our survivors the perfect candidates for the mission." "They never broke us," Maya mused. "Not the ones who fled, not the ones who stayed. Instead, they forced us to become something stronger, a humanity that could reach across the stars and still keep its connection to home." "The Meridians thought Earth was special because of its quantum field," Harrison added, his aged face reflecting the light of the planet below. "They never understood that Earth is special because it created humanity, and humanity never stopped fighting to protect it." Maya nodded, watching as a shuttle carrying Earthborn and spaceborne humans descended through the atmosphere. The Meridians had tried to take their world, but in doing so, they had taught humanity an invaluable lesson. That home wasn't just a place, but a bond that could survive any separation, any hardship, any challenge. "We're not just back," she said softly. We're stronger than ever. And this time, nothing in the universe will tear us from our home again. Earth's quantum field pulsed with renewed strength, resonating with the determination of its children. Humanity had not just survived. They had turned invasion into opportunity, occupation into revolution, and enemies into allies. The stars beckoned, but Earth would always be their anchor, their beginning, and their eternal home.